Have you ever wondered if you're at the wrong brokerage? Did you know that being at the wrong brokerage costs you an average of $17,000 out of pocket per year? That's almost $350,000 in earnings over a typical career. And this is mind blowing, but that's not even the worst part. The wrong brokerage will literally cost you millions of dollars in opportunity cost because it robs your ability to grow. I'm Chris Jones, founder and CEO of Guerrilla Realty. And in this video, I'm going to show you how to instantly know whether you're with the wrong company using a simple 3-question test. And if your brokerage is costing you money, I'll show you how you can fix it instantly with our magic email. And for those of you who discover that you're at the wrong company altogether, sorry, by the way, I'll show you our process for finding the right brokerage. It's easier than you think. And just to be clear, this is not a recruiting video. You're not going to get a pitch to join EXP or Epic or some other cloud-based rev share brokerage. This is about finding the best company for you, and I don't benefit from your decision in any way. By the way, my company built an amazing app called Split Crunch. It cuts through the BS and calculates your real split in seconds, and you can get a free copy of this app today. All you have to do is like this video, share it with a friend, and then comment shared below, and I'll send you a private link to get a free account. Anyway, here's what I'll cover in this video. Lesson number 1, the 3-question test. I'll teach you a simple 3-question test you can use to instantly know whether it's time to leave your current brokerage or to stay put. This is so easy, but it's also very effective. Every realtor should give their brokerage this test once per year, and your results might surprise you. Then there's lesson number 2. I'm going to teach you our magic email fix. Oftentimes, your brokerage will fail the test, but only partially. When that happens, oftentimes you can fix it with our magic email. This is a single email you can send directly to your broker in charge today. And on average, this email will make you an additional $9,000 per year, even if you do nothing else different. Then in lesson number 3, I'm going to show you how to find a new brokerage. In the heavy event that your broker completely fails the test, you may have no choice but to leave and find a new brokerage. And I'll show you our process for finding the right brokerage for you. And I'll tell you, being at the right brokerage can make growing your real estate business so much easier. All right, here it is. Lesson number 1, the 3-question test. So this is our famous 3-question test. You can apply to any brokerage and it'll instantly tell you whether you should leave your company or not. And I know that sounds heavy, but it shouldn't be. If you need to leave your company, it's better to know it sooner rather than later. So without further ado, here are the questions. Question number 1 is quite simple. It is my effective company split over 80%? If you're not keeping at least 80% of your gross commissions, you're always going to struggle to gain traction and to hit your goals in real estate, point blank, period. So the easiest way to calculate your effective company split is to use Split Crunch. Wait a second, Chris, don't I already know my effective company split? Probably not. Most companies have some kind of shell game where you make one split if you do this, and you make this, another split if you do this. And then of course, they're not factoring in virtual office fees, monthly fees, per transaction fees. And so what we've done is we built an app that cuts through all the BS, and it'll instantly tell you your effective company split based on your real production volume and based on what's happening in your market. So I'm going to take you over to the app right now. All right, so here we are at Split Crunch. And if you already have an account, you can sign in. Otherwise, you can create an account for free. And this will actually allow you to create a universal Guerrilla Realty account that'll get you into all of the free apps that we create. So I already have an account, so I'm just going to click sign in. And I'm going to sign in under my account. And then this is Split Crunch. So we're gonna look at the split only, because for the purposes of this 3-question test, we're only talking about raw dollars. Now, we're also working on a new feature where you can factor in benefits and rev share and show what that might do to your overall split. But right now, we're going to talk split only, and so we're going to toggle that off. And then here's what you're going to do. Right, you are going to set first how many transactions you did in the last 12 months. So whatever that number is, doesn't matter whether it was a lot or a little, you're just going to plug that in. So the average agent did 9 transactions over the last 12 months, average full-time agent, I should say. And the typical or the median sale price, just to say, across the U.S. is $423. Last time I checked, it could have gone up or down. And then the average commission side is about 2 3/4. And so we're going to save that information, but obviously this needs to be specific to you. And then we're going to select a brokerage. So we're going to select another brokerage, and we've got some of like the top brands out there already preloaded in, and we've got their splits pretty close based on, you know, what we know about them. And so let me just choose EXP just as an example. All right. We know that the EXP monthly fees are around $85. They might have actually gone up recently, so you may have to edit this. I'll show you how to do that in a moment. Then it's got your starting split at 80%. Everybody knows that's where EXP starts, which does not mean that you have an 80% effective company split, because you have to factor in other fees as well. You're only going to hit an effective split of 80% at certain transaction volume. So you cap at 16,000, and after the cap, you go to 100%. But then there's a $305 per transaction fee and some other stuff. So if this looks right, then you would just say this looks right. If it doesn't look right, then we're going to edit the details. And I actually don't remember off of the top of my head. I am not an EXP recruiter, but I think this has gone up to like $105. I could be wrong. Comment below if you know the EXP monthly fees. But I think it's like $105. And I also think that they've instituted a per transaction fee even at the starting split. Okay. But let's just say that they haven't. I know back in the day they didn't. And then after the cap transaction fee, it used to be $305, but I think it's like $350 now. And so then we're going to save this as a new profile because it doesn't match the EXP Realty exactly. Right. And then here's what it's going to do. It's going to rank this split with all of the other splits that we know out there. Okay. So based on this market info, you know, 2.75% average commission, median home price 423. You obviously want to do that for your local market. Your local market's going to be a lot different. Then you're going to choose your brokerage, and this is just going to rank it in a leaderboard, right? So obviously, in terms of effective company split, Realty One in this market center is going to rank the highest. That may or may not be true in your market. This was, you know, a company that we were messing around with, but EXP Realty at 9 transactions at 425,000, you know, 423,000 median home price with that commission split. We're going to make an effective split of 82.12%. This is super accurate down to 100%. Okay. But if you go on down, these are the brands that wouldn't make the cut. So Century 21 at that transaction volume, not going to make the cut, under 50%. Berkshire Hathaway, same deal. Caldwell, same deal. Okay. Exit, whatever this boutique brand is, and so on and so forth. And here's the thing. This split tends to go up as your transaction volume goes up. So you can actually play around with the transaction volume slider, and you can see that your split is going to continue to go up. See, if, you know, if I did, let's just say at 50 transactions, then your effective company split is going to be 94.31%. And so that's how Split Crunch works. It's that easy. And now I'm going to take you back to the rest of the 3-question test. All right, back to the 3-question test. Question number 1, obviously. Now you've calculated your effective company split using Split Crunch. Was it over 80%? If yes, you're good to go. If no, you don't have to quit your company. You don't have to send your 2 weeks notice today. In lesson number 2, I'm going to teach you how you can potentially fix that with our magic email. So stick around for that. But you may have to leave. If your company split, you can't get it up to 80% or over 80%, then you may have to leave ultimately. So that's question number 1. Question number 2 is, does the company offer professional support? Now, obviously, professional support can mean different things to different people. Here's what it means to us. And I think that with our years of experience, decades of experience, this is what's most important when you're looking for a company. You're looking for professional support when it comes to contract law. You're always going to run, no matter how experienced you are, you're always going to run into different contract questions. And I recommend that you have some wise counsel, somebody that you can lean on, no matter how much of an expert you are, wise counsel that you can lean on in those situations. Next, you want fast response times, right? The worst brokerages are the ones where you can't get an answer, or it takes 3 to 4 business days to get an answer, right? And this is one of the fair criticisms that is leveled against a lot of the cloud-based brokerages, is you don't have a support person that you can get a response from quickly, right? So contract law, fast response times, And then great office space. So obviously, in this post-COVID world, a lot of people work from home. A lot of people don't have a problem meeting at Starbucks, but sometimes you do need to have real meeting space. And so while I don't think you need a dedicated personal like solo office where you can put up pictures of your kids, I do think that you need a reliable office space that's neutral where people aren't coming into your home and they don't feel weird about that. You need a reliable office space. And so I recommend that you look for that when you're looking for a new company. So you got to ask yourself, my current company, does it meet these three criteria? Do I have somebody that I can get real good advice when it comes to contract law? Or I'm always having to Google and search on the internet and try to find the answer myself. Then when I send an email to my broker in charge, do I get fast response times? That means 1 to 2 hours max, right? Same day, worst case scenario. If you're getting next day or next week responses, it's too slow. And then finally, do I have reliable office space that I can get into? And is it clean and tidy, etc.? Right? That's question number 2. Question number 3 is, does the company truly cheerlead my efforts? And that may sound a bit vague too. You're going to have to analyze your company on your own. But the real question is, do they tend to say, yes, go for it? Or, I don't know, right? Does your broker in charge always encourage you to go for it, to do it, to try the thing? Or do they naysay and kind of drag you down? Do they provide friction in those situations? And I'm going to give you a real life example, right? So you guys know, if you've watched any of our other videos, that we're a big fan of borrowing other agents' listings and then advertising them to help you generate real client leads, right? It's one of our best playbooks. And this weird thing happens when we teach agents, certain agents at certain companies, I'm not going to tell you which one, we teach them this playbook and they're all gung-ho about it. And they go to do it. When their broker catches wind that they're going to do it, instead of being proud, instead of, marveling at their ingenuity, instead, the broker says, oh, I don't know if we should be doing that. Or I don't know if that's a good idea. Or, let me check with the local regs and see if that's possible. Okay. And what happens is the broker provides so much friction, creates so much friction in these situations that the agent generally ends up not doing that playbook, and they have to go and start over with a new playbook. And of course, there are other playbooks that don't require that you borrow a listing if that's not something you want to do. But those are situations where we wish we could tell the agent, hey, you should find a new broker, because if the broker creates friction in your business, right, and they stop you from doing things that you want to do to grow, then typically that's a permanent mindset that's not going to change. And so that's going to apply to almost everything that you do. So the question is, does the company truly cheerlead your efforts to grow and to get business? And it doesn't mean that they have to say yes to everything that you do, but just think, right? Run the test on your company right now. Are they more of a yes, go for it company? Or are they more of an I don't know company, right? And if they're an I don't know company, unfortunately, that's not something you can solve. And it's always going to create problems in the long term. It's just going to rob you in millions and millions and millions of dollars in commissions and growth, right? So that is the 3-question test. Go ahead and get a pen and paper, ask these 3 questions about your current company, and then follow me to the next lesson, and I'll tell you what to do if your company fails. Okay, you ran the 3-question test. How did your company do? Did they pass or fail? If they failed, there's a chance that they only partially failed. So if they only failed question number 1, we may be able to fix it. And that's what I'm going to cover here in lesson number 2, the magic email fix. All right. Unfortunately, if they failed questions 2 or 3, then in all likelihood, they can't be fixed. That's a cultural issue. It's a culture issue at the company. And you probably should move on sooner rather than later. Right. But if they only failed at question number 1, then there's a chance that we can fix it. And I'm going to show you how. And so let me share my screen. I'm going to show you our magic email that can make you $10,000 this year, even if you do nothing different. So here it is. This is your opportunity to negotiate your company split. And you should know that no matter what company you're at, no matter how corporate it is, no matter whether it's a cloud-based brokerage or not, your company split is negotiable. And you should know that you're a realtor. Everything's negotiable. So Here's the email. I'm just going to walk you through it really quickly. I don't want to spend too much time on this, but copy and paste it. If you have an effective company split less than 80%, and that's the only thing stopping you from staying at your current company, send this email to your broker in charge today. Just cut and paste, and it's that easy. So subject line is going to be my company split. That's it, right? And here's the email. Hi, and then you're going to insert your broker's name. So hi, Bob. I wanted to reach out to talk about my company split. When I chose, insert your brokerage. When I chose Keller Williams, I was looking for three things: a strong, effective split, 80% or higher, great support, a team that truly celebrates my success. You and the team have been incredible with support and encouragement. I've really felt valued here. Recently, I reviewed my numbers and realized that my effective company split is currently about, and then you're going to insert whatever Split Crunch told you as your effective company split, right? So let's just say, for the sake of argument, 72.5%. That was a bit surprising since it falls short of the target I had in mind when I joined. I love being a part of this brokerage, and I can't imagine starting over somewhere else. At the same time, I want to make sure this partnership continues to be a win-win for both of us. Would you be open to exploring a temporary adjustment, perhaps a 10% increase to my split for the next year? After that, we could revisit the numbers together and see where things stand. My hope is to keep growing here with a structure that works for both sides long term. What would be the best way for us to move forward? Thank you for considering this. Now, this email has been expertly written and tested. It was in consultation with my good buddy, Kevin Kaufman, who's the one who really taught me that everything is negotiable, even your corporate company split, and is also written after reading the book Never Split the Difference by Chris Voss, which I highly recommend. Most of you guys have probably already read it, but I still highly recommend it. And it is written in a very persuasive way, so it's very hard for your broker to say no. Now, you may send this email and they may say no, which means it's time to move on. You got to make more than 80% effective company split, right? That's my advice. However, for a lot of you guys, I would say that this has like a 50-50 chance of increasing your split by at least some. And so copy and paste and send this email to your broker in charge today, and you may be able to get your effective split to where you want it to be. And good luck. And that brings us to our third and final lesson: how to choose the right company. And the process is relatively simple. And in order to show it to you, I'm going to share my screen one more time, and I'm going to show you our process. So this is our process for finding the right company for you. And here we go. Step one is to make a list. And I'm talking about a big old huge list of virtually all the companies in your market. Like literally write them all down. You could do a good Google search for, real estate brokerage, Fayetteville, North Carolina, for example, or just insert your city. Make a huge list. I'm talking about a list of like 15, 20, 25 brokerages for you to consider. Even the ones that you thought I wouldn't touch that company with a 10-foot pole. Maybe you'll find out something during this process about that company that attracts you to them. So make a list. Step two is get close to some successful agents, the kind of agents that you wish your business looked a little bit more like theirs, right? These are the agents that are doing really, really well for themselves, and ask them, who do you think I should join? And just, take them to lunch, take them to coffee, get one-on-one and just ask them, if your son or your daughter was getting into real estate, what company would you recommend that they join? And don't just tell me the company that you're at. Just tell me, when you looked around, I trust you. Okay. When you look around, what company would you join? I'm just getting advice from a couple of successful agents, people that I look up to, and you're one of them. And the reason why we do step two is in the Bible, it says, in the multitude of counselors, there is safety. And so the best thing that you can do right now is ask a lot of people who are further ahead on this journey than you are. And so ask successful agents that are already making it happen, right? Step three is then narrow the field. So based on their advice, based on the 3-question test that you should be applying to every one of these companies, narrow down the field and just go ahead and cross through. You're on a pen and notepad, cross through all the companies that don't pass the test or that other successful agents said they would never go to. and narrow the field down to 3 to 5, right? And step 4 is going to be interview at least 3 companies. So that means literally book an appointment, whether it's with EXP or Epic, one of the cloud-based brokerages, or whether it's, a local brick and mortar like Caldwell or Keller Williams, does not matter. Okay. Interview at least 3 companies. Don't just get, tunnel vision where you're looking at one company. And so everything, selection bias, or not selection bias, but confirmation bias kicks in and just everything about them looks great. Instead, interview 3 companies and ask them all the same questions. What questions you ask? Well, the 3 questions that you applied to your last company when you decided to leave. The 3 questions we talked about in lesson number 1. Step 5 is negotiate your split. So when you sit down with them, when you get close to coming on board at one of those companies, or you've made a decision, that's what you want to do. Before you join, I recommend that you send that email in lesson number 2 to your prospective broker and just say, hey, I'd like my split to be higher, right? You can just edit that email, massage it a little bit, send it to them, and negotiate your split before you join. You may not always win, and you may join the company anyway, even if they don't negotiate, but increasing your split by even 1% is going to have a huge ROI for you, and it doesn't take much time, right? It also sets a tone for your relationship where they know that you're an expert negotiator, right? And they know that you mean business and they're not going to play around with you, right? And then step 6, choose your company. This process will work virtually every time for any agent in any market. Make a list, ask successful agents who they would recommend that you join, narrow the field down to 3 to 5 companies, interview at least 3 of them, but potentially do interviews with all 5 of them, negotiate your split before choosing your company. And that's our whole process. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. And there you have it. How does your company stack up? If it's time to leave, don't wait. Make the move as soon as possible. I know it's painful, but if you use our simple process for finding the right brokerage, you'll be relieved when you land at your new office. You'll probably wonder why you waited so long. So comment below your current brokerage and tell us how they stack up. I'm curious which company has the happiest agent and which ones pass our 3-question test. So thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. We release 2 videos per week.